Okay, hopefully this is a better design. I'm using tracing paper as a separator. It's wrapped around twice and I folded the bottom and also packed the gel into there and folded the ends down. So I've just sprinkled it with some distilled water. It's at 0.4 volts. I'll just monitor that for a while. It probably needs a couple of hours to wet that paper. Tracing paper is a lot thicker, as you can see. It's probably a lot more durable than just this copy paper. It's a lot tougher. So it's wrapped around twice, so I'm not sure if that's going to affect it much or what. But I've got that pretty packed tight now. Still using the graphite electrode as the negative. And hopefully having that folded down, it doesn't expand upwards. So it should actually get tighter in there as we charge it. So I'll just add some water later. I'll keep that wet. So it's sort of wet now, but you can see it should go opaque. It's like, or it should go transparent. It's opaque at the moment. And then see where it's wet, a bit more wetter on the top there. It's sort of, you can see through it nearly. And nothing seems to be happening to the carbon in damaging wise. So it seems to be holding up well to changing the cell around and everything and having charges go through it and discharges. There's no blocking. It just went to 5 volt, 0.5 just then. I'll add a sprinkle of water right now, see if we get a change. It only needs like 2 mils of plain distilled water. So that's just adding some water to it. But it's probably not a useful cell because you have to like give it a trickle of water because it does dry out being left open like this. Alright, I think I might have gave it too much, so I'll let that sit there for a while. So that was adding extra water, so it sort of dropped off, over flooding it, probably blocking the pores in the carbon. So I'll get back in a half hour and see what happens and then add a charge. First charge for the cell, it was on charge for 2 hours, starting 50 milliamps. Starting to force its way open, I noticed. So the stuff's still expanding. Day 2 of the cell. It's just had a 3-hour charge, doing a 50 milliamp discharge. It's holding 2.1 at the moment. But the stuff still expands. It was right down to the level with the top of the carbon and it's unfolded and popped itself up again. So I still have that issue. Yesterday's run, we had a 2-hour charge. It ran for 1 hour and 5 minutes. Did 55 milliamps and 69 milliwatt hours. It wasn't totally wet yet. I think it's wet now enough. The separator should be wet enough. So that's still a problem where it expands out of the tube. Still, it's holding its voltage quite well. It's doing much better than the zinc electrode we had in there, just under that one. There it is there. Okay, the cell's just had a 4.5 hour charge. It's been running for 7 minutes at the moment at 50 milliamps. It's holding 2.03 volts. Really have to try to fix this up. I tucked it all in before the charge. So I'm looking a bit more protruding than normally because it's a 4.5 hour charge. That would probably work a lot better if I held all that down somehow. I might try to make a little plastic cap, but it'll probably still ooze out of there. So it's not touching, the separator's pretty high up. So the other run, yesterday's run after a 3-hour charge, ran for 3 hours and 58 minutes, 200 milliamp hours and 292 milliwatt hours. The cell's 6th charge. It was charged for 5 hours and 39 minutes. Just started the discharge. Still suffers from squirting out the top. I noticed on this run, number 4, it had a 5-hour charge and it only ran for 5 hours and 16 minutes. I added too much water, like about 3 mils too much maybe. I didn't add any water yesterday and it ran for 6 hours and 46 minutes on a 5-hour and 27 minute charge, delivering 341 milliamp hours and 483 milliwatt hours. And it still seems to be charging and holding okay compared to the one with the carbon ring. No, this was the one with the copy paper separator and the graphite rod. This is the one with the tracing paper separator and graphite rod, and that was the one with the zinc electrode, which wasn't so good because the zinc oxidizes and becomes non-conductive pretty quickly. So we ran for a minute just then and it's dropped by 1 volt nearly. So quite different air battery. So I'm keeping it dry, seems to work better. Still very much of an issue here. I'm going to see if I can make up a PVC pipe what can fit in there. I'll put the separator around the pipe, drill all holes through the pipe, and seal one end and make a little ring. Well, I can sit over there and seal it and see what happens, providing I find a piece of pipe that fits. Okay, I think the cell is dry. I just added some water. It's been running for 5 hours. I added some water here and the voltage went back up. It was down to 0.9. It's 38 degrees Celsius. So it's quite warm. So I only got a trickle of water before the charge and it had a 5 hour and 44 minute charge. This will be the 12th run, 5 hours and 44. We at number 9 it was at 649 milliwatt hours, and then it's been warm for the last couple of days, so it may be drying out. 7 hours there, it ran for 8 hours there, 9:26 hours, 9 hours and 26 minutes I should say. So definitely improvement with a double wrapped tracing paper separator. It's coming out. I need to change it, so this will probably be the last time I run it. Okay, the third version of the cell with the carbon rod, the zinc air cell, still suffers from leaking out the top, so I'll have to make some sort of cylinder or something to contain it. The stuff's starting to get on the alligator clip, so that could be the reason, maybe one of the reasons why it's dropping in performance after the 12th charge. So, milliwatt hour column. On the first charge it was only 69 milliwatt hours, then it went up to 292 and peaked at 649 milliwatt hours, and the milliamps in this column, average voltage is it's around about 1.4, and that's the runtime column. So 3 hours and 58 minutes, that was only 1 hour and 5 minutes. And charge, so first charge had 2 hours, and I went to a 4-hour charge, ran for 6 hours and 26 minutes. 5-hour charge, 5 hour and 27. So that's looking okay, but I'm gonna have to do something with that, and then it's still probably not a usable cell, because how do you contain something like that? It does need a couple of about 3 mils of water dripped over it before you charge, so it doesn't dry out. The cell was made with nappy crystals. 50 grams of zinc powder went into there, some graphite powder, and 6 moles of potassium hydroxide was mixed into a slurry and then sort of dried. It's drying out now. There's still a lot left. It's made 3 cells, that stuff, and a lantern battery carbon rod for the negative. And that was just 3186 marine grade stainless wire wrapped around that carbon cylinder. So I'll post this video and work on a version 4. Hopefully I can retain that. Oh, and the separator was tracing paper by 2 this time. I used 2 layers and it seems to be performing pretty good. Maybe in the other cells, because it's only 1 layer, was leaking through. That's why the voltage in that hour time running is much higher. Alright, thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next run.